Right. Hi, Ilona. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you.
Good, good. No, good to have you back on the podcast. It really means a lot.
Awesome.
But yeah, we said that on this today on today's topic, we're talking about the beauty pageant that you was in.
Yes, it was right after the collapse of the Soviet Union. So, there was like I always had a dream of the Cinderella. And if you know any girl, we all have some kind of that dream, that romantic dream of the Cinderella story that haunting us all day. And we always think about or plan our future, what we're gonna look like, this transformation time. So I didn't think about anything else. I used to design my own clothes, my own the clothes for my dolls, and I would play my vision and my dream into that. But one day we were coming back with my friends and my sister, my cousins. We were walking our regular routine back home, and we saw the flyer that posted by the window of one of the schools. And during that time, we didn't have any internet, we didn't have any Google, none of YouTube. So we could not collect any information until it's like on a paper. So if it's on a paper, you better read it. So because if there's any communication, any message that needs to be done between let's say government and the people, it's essential. You have to read it. Because during that time, we didn't have any electricity. So our time spent on the TV or the news was very, very limited. So we gravitated toward the poster on the door. And the poster, we were expecting anything. Like, war is going to be next time, if you're male, get ready to get into the war, no school or anything. But it said this. The Armenian diaspora is hosting the first annual beauty pageant. So if you are interested, sign up. Come
Oh,
on,
wow.
first casting, because it's not just, it's a preliminary casting before you even get into the pageant casting, pre-pageant casting. So I said to myself, yeah, sure, yeah, right. So, and all of my friends, my classmates who were with me, they were like, Ilona, let's do it. I think it will be amazing. It will be fantastic. You're going to love it. There's nothing to lose. All you have to do is just get there. If they say no, then it's no. And that's what I was feared for, to get no, rejection, because that would tell me that it would not validate my confidence. It will, as the girl, like a teenager, 18-year-old, I wanted to be beautiful, right? And everybody else, we do not want to called ugly, or because in my life, as I was growing up, my relatives called me ugly because I did not resemble them, because my mom is Ukrainian and my Armenian family, they were, like relatives, they would call me ugly because I had a different color of the hair, different color of the eyes. So I heard that, they were blaming me or calling me names all, like in my ears. So, and I was afraid to get another no, which will validate their statements in my life. Therefore, I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. So they pushed, like, Ilona, please, let's go, sign up. It's not gonna hurt you, and let's just try it. It's gonna be okay. So what? Maybe they have different standards. And I said, I know what beauty pageant looked like. I've seen it on a TV. I know the standards of it. You have to have your own sponsor. You have to have your clotheslines. You have to have so many people. Like I said, it takes the village to get the winner up. I had nobody, not even like my wildest dreams or things. So I said to myself, okay, let's do it, but you guys have to come with me. So if they say no, I'm gonna like yell at you, like, be mad at you, and you're gonna take all the blame. They said, okay, no problem. So I go there for the preliminary, casting, and they asked me, the first thing they asked, if I'm Armenian, and I'm half Armenian. It was Armenian diaspora. And I said, yes. You don't look like Armenian. I'm like, yeah, my mom is Ukrainian. Okay, so say something in Armenian. So I started saying things in Armenian. So my friends were with me. They were all Armenians, looked just like the Armenians. My sister was with me too. So she looked just like Armenian, very dark skin, dark eyes, dark hair, everything. We were like two different people from two different, let's say, like families. We did not look like each other at all. So, and everybody was like, yeah, she's Armenian. She goes to Armenian school, stuff. So they believed, and of course I started speaking to them in Armenian, and like, okay, let's sign and let's see what happens. So they looked at me, asked a few questions, and they said, okay, you made the first cut, you can be part of, but they told me that there will be few different cuts. Before the pattern, there will be preliminary, you have to go for the rehearsal. And that's what happens, in a real pageant, you have to also get to preliminary. So the judges pretty much already know who the winner will be, it's just a show for all of us, because all the winners are selected behind the stage. So period, end of story. And that's why it's very, very political in some sort of others or another. So I go there and they said, okay, our rehearsal starts on Monday at 6 p.m. Be sharp. So my goal is, oh my gosh, after the school, I would just do my homework very fast and I would just go to that place for a rehearsal. And they would teach us how to do the catwalk. They would have professional, model to come and teach us how to do the professional catwalk. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can barely walk.
Yeah.
I can do the catwalk now. So, and will help you girls if you bring your high heels, because the more you practice walking on the high heels, the better and confident you will be on the stage. So, and then in a 10 days or a week, they told us that will be another cut prior to the pageant. So I was so nervous, I was so scared. I'm like, okay, the week goes by and I see there was a cut made, and I was like, oh my gosh, they had to cut at least half of the people that we were.
How many was there?
Their goal was to have 20 on the stage, 20 girls on the stage.
Yeah.
But we had double. I think there was a triple girls on our, casting.
Yeah.
They were casting because there were judges there, kind of like looking at each other. Kind of they would come and glance, like like they would maybe make a circle, like make a special note to in their head, and they would give their recommendations. And so I made that cut. So now it's a beauty pageant time. So then we had to rehearse on a stage where the beauty pageant would be. So we would go there, we would do again another walk, another catwalk, another where everybody should stand, how you should come and pose and stand. So everybody had their own places and such. So they would tell us how to go around with the swimsuit competition. And I said, swimsuit competition? I didn't sign up for that, because in my culture, women has to have their own standards. It has to be like a purity. And they said, no, it's not going to be, 2 pieces, just 1 piece is fine. I'm like, even 1 piece, I don't care if it's like 10 pieces on, it's still kind of embarrassing, we don't do that. And how did they even do that? It was just mind-boggling to me. But I said to myself, well, I'm not going to make a cut to the swimsuit competition, portion of it. So I don't even have to worry about it. So I said, I was just going to do, the first one, second one, the talent show. And then I'll be, maybe they will say, okay, it's time to cut her and she'll be done with it.
Yeah.
So the beauty pageant starts, and it was such an energy. It's a different energy than when you rehearse. Completely, stomach is like, has so much butterflies. You don't care if you're gonna win, but that desire to win even increases higher and higher. You already made this far. You may as well go all the way, Ilona, because it will be kind of, just just do it, you know, why not? So I said, you know, to myself, of course, there's lots of doubts, but the energy that was in the audience, everybody were cheering, all these noises in this dress rehearsal, in the dressing rooms where we could feel that energy would just transform through the door. Nobody cared about, we were changing and stuff. Nobody even looked at each other. Nobody had time for each other. We all minding our own business. We had the time. So I go on the stage, and that's the first time during our beauty pageant when I saw the new contestant. I've never seen her ever again. Looked like she was a part of that, somebody else from the judges. She was a relative or so. I'm like, and there was the gossip, you know, like that she's, you know, she was predestined to win, to get the title and stuff. And usually this is how it happens, you know. In a beauty pageant, you have it's a very political. So their goal was to select one that was pure Armenian, you know, first place diaspora, the first, and then another place, also another Armenian. And then we had a Georgian girl who, because it was in the country of Georgia, so they will make sure that, you know, we respond or respect that country, and we acknowledge that Georgian women are also beautiful as well, and such. So it was very set up, and I'm like a hybrid. I don't fit anywhere. So. As we were walking and doing our kind of things, all of my neighbors and friends became my sponsors. I would just beg from them the clothes that I wanted. I'm like, just give me what you have. I'm gonna select what I'm gonna wear, and so I will be, you know, presentable and things for casual wear. We had business wear, we had talent show, and we had to make our own avant-garde from the potato sack.
Wow.
So I made my own dress they gave us potato sacks, and we had to do things. Since I had a very good imagination and I had to practice on my dolls prior, like when I was growing up, you know, so it was easy for me to do it. So I made on the bottom of the skirt, I put in English, "I love you" in red. And I'm like, I cannot believe it looks fantastic. They loved it. They absolutely loved it. But so we all go there, and I see the mother of the, you know, predestined winner. She was taking valerian, you know, drops, and that's the drops that when you are nervous or anxious, you take it to calm your nerves down. And I come to learn that she was nervous because her daughter was selected winner prior to the walk, and all the audience were cheering my name, everybody. So they're like, "Ilona for the winner, she's our winner, Ilona, Ilona."
Yeah.
My name never sounded so good in my life.
Oh.
At that time, I was like, who are those people? What happened? I don't you guys have any idea what I'm wearing, you know, in terms of who was my sponsor. It was not like Gucci, none of this, you know, Armani, just regular store,
clothes.
you know, clothes, yes. And she was nervous, and she thought that, you know, judges are going to change their mind. And since everybody were predetermined, you know, I have in the backstage very quick between the changes, you know, the organizer comes to me and he asked, "Ilona," I'm like, "What? Do you know those people who are cheering for you?" I'm like, "No, I don't, but you're in trouble if I do, you know, because if something goes wrong, they're gonna tear." And they got scared. They got, you know, there was like big, massive people were, you know, calling my name. And he goes, "I don't know what happened in between the stage, but I made a cut. So now I have to wear my swimsuit." I'm like, "I don't even have a swimsuit." So, and the girl who was eliminated, she comes to me and she said, you know, we were like one size, and like, "Ilona, do you want to wear my swimsuit? You know, I'm not going to use it anyways." I'm like, "Yeah, sure." You know, so she was kind enough, you know, usually women get like, or girls get jealous and they would never do anything. So for me, it was a great surprise. And I really thank her for that. And she like really genuinely wanted to help me out with that. So as between that things, what happened, that organizer goes to the judges and mentions that, and judges are like, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? You know, we already have our people, you know, we cannot change our mind and such. So they said, how about we create another category where she can win? You know, so otherwise those crowd are gonna chew us up, and we just careful about that. And so all the winners, and I have no idea what went behind the things. All we knew that there was a new girl, never seen. She was predestined. It was very obvious. I saw the mother of the first winner was taking all of her special drops to calm her nerves down. So it was obvious, very political. So I told to myself, you know, I don't have a chance. You know, I got a semi-finals, I got to the finals, and then now there's the music, and music stops, and they're going to announce the winners. So we knew that they announced the winner of the Armenian girl I've never seen before in my life. During the rehearsal, how she appeared, I have no idea. At Miss Diaspora, and then they go down, and then they announce me as Miss Ultimate People's Choice winner. So I got the title of the most voted, you know, and all the entire country voted for me, you know, and you know, I surprised myself. I've never knew it would happen. I've never had any anticipation it happened. So I'm glad that things like that, you know, like when, you know, like sometimes things happen better than what you expected. And if you do not take a risks and pursue your dreams, you will never know the answer what it will be. And I've learned a life lesson, you know, do not base your opinion of yourself on somebody else's opinion of you. And I also learned that I always use that phrase, opinions are just like armpits. Everybody's got them, but most of them stink. So, and that's why I had to be careful not to base, if I would base my opinion of myself based on what my relatives would tell me, right? She's ugly, look at her nose, look at her ears, look at her color of the hair. She's just completely, and I grew up like, oh my gosh, mom, I'm ugly, you know? So, and my mom would always say, don't worry about them. They're just jealous. You know, you're the beautiful. I'm like, yeah, you're my mom. Of course, you're going to tell me that. But validation of, you know, that curse was broken when I got validated of who I was and how everybody else saw me. You know, they may see my soul, right? They may see my actions, they might see my attributes, they may see my qualities before they see the facade that we all have. You know, yes, we all had our makeups there, our hairs were of course different. We all had to of course dress up for this special occasion, but I think what stands out to you is personality. It's your demeanor, your confidence in that. And even during I think that's how I want everybody. During the talent show, we were asked to recite Armenian poems in Armenian.
Oh, wow.
And at that time, I didn't read or write Armenian. I learned after it because nobody taught me that. I knew how to speak, and that's it. So what I did, I was rehearsing. I wrote down Armenian poem into Russian, and I put it here on my arm. I know. And as I was standing, you know, a little bit, as I was standing, you know, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll do it like this as I was talking to, you know, with my hands. Nobody will see it, but you know, people already knew that, you know, but nobody in front of me will notice that. And I was so nervous, I couldn't even read nothing. I started like with the 3 lines, and I stopped. I'm like, I can't. And then everybody said, you know, do it again. So I do it again. I say 3 lines, and I stop. I freeze. So, and then I start smiling, and I kind of like, I was like, said something, you know, very nice. I'm like, well, you guys charm me so much that, you know, your energy got me so overwhelmed. I even forgot about my poem. And they start laughing or something. And that's how I think I won them, because of my personality and how sincere I was. I didn't try it. So I just smiled and I said, you know, like, I love you all, something like inside of me. I was chewing myself up you idiot, how could you do that? You rehearsed that, you know it by heart. What happened? But sometimes you cannot control this energy. It's so overwhelming there, and you get your anxiety level goes like to the roof, just completely. And I remember the song, the first song that we used when we walked to our first it's by Nana. It says, I'm lonely. So, and it became for some, I know the message back that time, I didn't speak any English. So back, you know, for me, it was just the sound of the music, and we all kind of were singing, I'm lonely, lonely. And we thought it was cool, but it was very sad song for some reason. But the music, the beat was just right for that you know, stage. Yes, for that walk that we did, for that special category that we had. So that kind of became, and after the beauty pageant, I got that tape right away, and I was listening. It was Remembrance. But for the second part, you know, of course, we got a winner, and I was granted a trip to go to Armenia, my fatherland. All trips are paid, and everything is done. So at that point, I was granted a bodyguard, a chauffeur, and also access to the private jet. So I had all that, and of course, small spoiling moments that I got over there when I arrived. So I'm like, okay, bring it on, spoil me, I deserve it. But I was like, I have nobody around me to celebrate that. It's, I mean, do I be spoiled? I don't want to like look like, you know, I'm just so like, you know, the prideful or arrogant about that. I want to just celebrate and rejoice with the people that I care and love, like my parents, my sister, you know, a few friends. But I think it was just for me. I've learned a lot of lessons over there, what I saw, and communication and contact and networking there that was not necessarily was right. And that was something that I started my, let's say, career to go further, because what I saw that influenced that decision in my life. And when I returned back, you know, I faced jealousy from my own best friend, and we had another party that in an ambassador's suite, in ambassador like a castle, where we were called to celebrate our and share our trip, you know, how it was, and and discuss our future plans about signing the contract, or, you know, what we want to do with our careers and such. And I go to that place, ambassador was there. Usually I had a very good relationship with ambassador, so I've seen him multiple times. He was very nice, but this time he was changed. He was very short with me, and kind of very rude, I would say. So I go to his place. It's like a big castle, of course. It's an embassy and such, and everybody else arrived already, and they were waiting for me. So I got there. Before we even started, he says this, I have announcement to make. And I said, well, you know, yeah, that's fine. So Ilona, you are disqualified. I'm like, huh?
What?
Yes, disqualified. And I said, what happened? He says that we got a news that that your dad sold his car to bribe the judges for you to win, because you were not supposed to win. You know, something has happened. So at that moment, like, I got so embarrassed for that humiliation that I did not deserve. I could not speak. I could not wait to go home and share my pain and devastation with my mom. So I don't even know what happened after I left. I don't even care. And, you know, and there was another major reward that was awaiting for the winners, you know, for me to go to the Greece and to go around the, you know, the world, the trip. So, and he said, I'm disqualified from it. And I go home, and my mom said, don't worry, if you're not going to go, nobody's going to go, because, you know, whatever just happened is such a lie, and it's not true. of course, we know it's not true. It wasn't true at all. We were very poor. We barely have our needs met.
Yeah.
My dad still had his car, and it's just, it's not logical what they said. However, I was wondering what happened, who said that, what
Yeah.
prompted them to that. Weeks later, we get a call, and one of the organizer, was talking to my mom, and my mom asked, hey, Aaron, what happened to the news? Who lied about my daughter like this? And he said, please don't tell anybody. But her best friend, who didn't make a cut, who was also in a beauty pageant, who didn't make a cut, she came to us and she shared that that's what happened. So, and it was my best friend who betrayed me like this, in that area, and it was very, very, very painful to me. Of course, I cut her off. I was very cordial. I only hi bye, but I would never let her into my world, and I didn't want to see anything about her world as well. She knew she did something wrong, and got very sorry for that. But what's done, and it's another life lesson that I've learned, and about that people can betray you. To be careful about who you hang out with, and people can use you, abuse you, betray you, trade you, and I was very hurt, very surprised. So and then after this call, in 2 days, we get a call from ambassador himself, and he started to apologize. He said, I should have verified the information prior to accuse her, and it just happened so fast. It went to the press, it went to the media, and we didn't know what to do, and we had to disqualify you so we can so it's like, is it okay if we make up to you, and can I send you my personal chauffeur to bring it, to come to visit us, and we'll be able to kind of publicly kind of restore her title back again. And then he said this, he said, I don't know what happened, but we have disqualified the rest of the people to go to the trip,
Oh, wow.
the rest of us to go to the trip. So nobody went, and such. So my mom said, yeah, that's right, because even they knew that wasn't true, and because they couldn't say nothing, because all of their places were already predetermined. So if they would have backed me up, because
they wanted to place for themselves.
Because yes, they were all because of their own kind of covering their own rear ends, so to say. So and but I had nothing to cover, so they said, well, one, like darkness doesn't like light. So, and every time there's a light in a room, or there's some kind of positiveness in a room, this darkness is trying to push it out and eliminate that out of any area, in a workplaces, in a school places, in any company places, in any of these places like this, that kind of pushes it out, because it's so comfortable without light, because and back that time I didn't realize that it was a sign from God that he's always going to protect me from any negative situation, from anything that would to prevent me from making mistakes, to prevent me to fail or get burned even deeper and get hurt even harder. That will be hard to recover from it. And because if that would not happen, I probably would have signed a contract and would go on that journey, on that career path, which would completely corrupt me, because that side, what I've seen during my trip, is completely corrupted.
Yeah.
So, and this is not who I am. And I know that sometimes chasing the money, fame, and your authority or career and power can cost you big time, and can cost your integrity, your trust, loyalty, and good people around you. So, and I'm so glad, because I would not be strong enough to make this decision, because I wouldn't know better. But I think God kind of prevented me. He's like, Ilona, maybe you thought that was your loss, but in reality, it was my protection of you, so you will not even get like in a swamp. When you go to the swamp, it gets you down, and
Yeah, yeah.
there is no way out, and you will be completely ruined with all I made you out of, what I gave you, essential parts of your life. It will be all ruined. So I'm thankful for this experience. I still have my title. I'm still that.
Awesome.
and stuff. So I'm still part of that amazing experience. God still spoiled me from everything.
Yeah.
I deserved the limo, the private jet, bodyguard, the chauffeur, the special gifts that I was showered every day, and the 5-star hotels, the marbles, the golden spoons I was eating with. So it was just, I think, was good, but what I'm glad that it's not something that I chose to pursue my life.
Wow. I mean, congratulations for getting that title and going through that. And like, it's so crazy to think that all of that experience from a beauty pageant, and it's like you've grown and taken so much from that process. And like you said, being criticized and being having negative words said to you by your neighbors or people around you, based on where you're from and what you look like. And yeah, it's like going through that beauty pageant, kind of like you said, that fear of is what they're saying right? And it's like you had to kind of go through that to kind of like affirm that there isn't anything wrong, and you
Yes,
are.
and I was, like, I think that validation was important for me, because as a teenager, well, actually, like young adult, let's say, for me, living through that lies in my life about my let's say appearance, because I did not resemble them, kind of was eating me alive, was completely ruined my self-confidence and self-esteem. Little by little. And if I didn't have all of this audience, entire country, right, like ruined for, like, voted for me, and like, like just rooting for me during that time, I think it would have been different, would have been really, really different. And I needed that validation to kind of say, hey guys, back off.
Yeah.
So now try. After that, nobody has ever called me ugly. Like my relatives never called me ugly.
No.
It was like rubbing their face.
Yeah,
I didn't to, but the life already responded to them on my behalf. So and stuff. So and that's why I know that God's hand is on me no matter what I do. Either it's a workplace or any other place that it hurts. Sometimes when people say negative things, like in your situation sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But but at the same time, you just have to know how confident you are and whose you are. It's very important who gives you this energy, who is the ultimate judge, right? It's not people that judge you, it's him that judges you. And the way he sees you, like he sees me as a princess, as a royalty, as a queen, as a beauty winner, right? Every day. And that's kind of messages I want to wake up on a daily basis. It's more than just external beauty. And it's essential. That's what your heart looks like, I think, because right now I feel so terribly bad for our young girls who have a wrong concept of the beauty.
Yeah.
And it's such a fake thing, and they think that that's going to sustain them in life, but it's not. They have it's just devastating what I see them going through, and how this media and those magazine influence their self-esteem and self-confidence to who they are. And that pains me big time. And that's why the book that I'm working on is geared towards that. I'm very vulnerable. I'm opening up in that, letting them know about building their self-confidence inside of them. and do not seek for approval on somebody else, because it's going to cost them and it's going to be very, very painful.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I think, you know, with, you know, what you going through that process, like you've learned so much about, you know, yourself, you know, about other people, trusting other people, you know, who your friends are, who you can rely on, and how important it is to believe in yourself, isn't it? And to have that support network there. And I think, like you said, with people today, they don't really know themselves, or they doubt themselves and compare themselves to other people and how they look, or how they're meant to look. And, you know, like you said, you've got to tell yourself you are beautiful and you are good enough, and support yourself, isn't it? And being positive.
And that's the biggest lie of this world. When anything we look at, TV, magazines, media, YouTubing, the social networking is complete mess. Their biggest message for us, for any ages, especially, you know, the kids are very influential, the teenagers, is when they tell you this lie that you are not good enough. And that's what we are all striving, and they're giving us these images what good enough is. You lose some weight, you will be good enough. You do this makeup, you will be good enough. You go on that diet, you will be good enough. You do this surgery, you know, plastic surgery, you will be good enough. You know, you wear this kind of clothes, you will be good enough. You have to become this have this voice in society, and you will be good enough. You have to accomplish and, you know, complete something, and then you will be good enough. And these are all lies, because the more we do, we will never stop, you know, being good enough for them. You know, when we do one thing, there will be always something to do, and that's exhausting. It's pricey, it's expensive, it's excruciating, it's detrimental to people's mental, emotions, the physical appearance, and also the spiritual part of who they are.
Yeah, no, I think you're like, you know, hit the nail on the head, so to speak. Like, I agree. I think it's almost like people are seeking this completion, that there is no completion. It just, everything's just ongoing. And people are chasing, like you said, that you know, like I said, keeping up with the Joneses. People are so focused on how they appear to other people, and not looking at how they actually feel in themselves and what they're happy doing. They're too busy seeking the next thing to look a certain way to their friends, to their family, to society, social media. And it's within yourself, isn't it?
Yes. And that's what my message is when I speak to the, you know, let's say to the young ladies, or even the women like my age or a little bit more, who got affected by those words that stuck into their lives, into their head, who shaped them who they are now, because they base their opinion of themselves on theirs. And we sometimes become a danger when we shape our identity on someone else's opinion of ourselves. And that's another danger, the risky zone, where we all live and we become so comfortable. We feel like we need their approval to, you know, to be validated who we are, our essence of our importance, who are of you know, our happiness, our joy, and it destroys us. We are not productive, we are not effective in our lives. We beat ourselves up because this world is so competitive. They want you to feel horrible, because the more horrible you feel, you will not take care of yourselves, you will not accomplish yourself, you will beat yourself down, and therefore you're not competitor with them anymore. So one person down, few to go. So, and that's why you have to be very, very, and that's why this is my biggest message to girls out there. So, and when I speak, you know, I try to emphasize more about that, and I'm just going to empower them about, put some actions into their lives right? Fuel them up, rekindle that joy, that essence, you know, their uniqueness, their identity, their personalities. It's okay to be different. You know, I don't want to be like anybody else. It will be boring. So we need to celebrate our diversity, you know, our special culture, special languages, special looks, special talents, special, you know, special hobbies that, you know, what drives us every day, you know. I think that makes our world beautiful and special if we all look different. So not like everybody else, like, you know, you open the magazine and like, okay, you have to look like me or you're out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
that's my biggest message. And, you know, to prevent, to encourage, empower, and just, yeah, inspire.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. And I think it's a lovely, you know, you've got lovely values and a lovely message in place that I think a lot of people can take from, you know, and benefit from, and,
Yep.
you know, apply to their lives, because, you know, it's true what you're saying. And you've had, you know, you've gone through that process, you know what I mean? And through that beauty pageant, you realize, you know, how important it is to, you know, believe in yourself and to not care about what people think. And I think, like, it's really inspiring. And I think, like, it's so important, you know, to accept who you are, believe in yourself, because, you know, there's only one of us, isn't there, as a person? And
Yes.
we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people. And, you know, the chances of being a human being are like 400 trillion to 1. You know, so, you know, life is sacred and we need to value our lives, don't we? And
Correct.
be the best version of ourselves and help other people, you know, through their journey.
Yes. My biggest message is to them when I speak is that they are meant to be on this planet the way they are, with their talents. So they will need to stop to compare themselves with others, because they will never live up to their expectations. So they have a special purpose to be here on earth, just like you and me. We may not know what it is, but we need to believe. Some people found their path, some people like got disconnected, but we all have this special purpose to this life, just maybe to make somebody else happy, you know, just to maybe be a best gardener in the world, you know, plant this special rose, be a greatest baker, you know, just maybe help your neighbor in some situations. So there's everybody has its own purpose. We all like I call angels, you know, we appear when we least expect, but when we most need it, you know. And you never know, like, that's the secret message, the special, you know, because angels are messengers. So just be a messenger, you know, live in this life, you know, be productive. Don't beat yourself up if you're not successful as people out there, or your neighbor, your friend, your relative, and such. You never know, maybe God will use this Hans Christian Andersen's story of the ugly duckling, right? And the life will surprise everybody. Maybe he's preparing you to ambush everybody when you turn it from this ugly duckling, the dark, you know, innocent being, into the flourishing, into this beautiful swan that nobody else has expected. So, and I remember, as I was after the stage, I remember how people were mocking me. I remember that story of the ugly duckling, that I was that ugly duckling that everybody would point at me. She's different. She's so different. She doesn't look like us. Who is that? And then when I turned into this beautiful swan on a stage, that even I did not expect what I would look like when, you know, I put myself together and things like that. That, yes, I really felt like that swan, you know, when I just like flourished in front of everybody, and kind of just everybody got,
gracefulness.
yes, and even judges, they're like, Ilona, we did not expect you to look like this, because usually I didn't give my all during the, to keep this element of, surprise and kind of and such. So, and they're like, we did not expect you to look the way you did. You completely blow our mind, and even they admitted that, I was just really, I deserve that. I absolutely deserve that. So
no, it's amazing. It's amazing, like you said, like your story of everything that happened, and how you were spoken to, and your beliefs around that, and the process of going through, pushing out your comfort zone, isn't it? Like, you didn't want to do it, but your friends are like, they push you to do it.
yes,
And
yes,
you kind of like almost found that kind of tuned into yourself. You know what I mean? Like, come to accept yourself through that and
yes.
grown.
That was something that, like, I think we all take a risks in our lives with any decisions or any opportunities that we have that comes our way. So you may turn out that job opportunity, and it's risky, but it's not what you wanted, even though the money is great. But then something bigger, better comes along. So we all make some kind of decision. Every single day is a decision. Do I want to get up? Am I going to go to work? Am I going to be productive? So, but there's some decisions in our lives that really come unexpectedly, out of blue, out of just out of the corner, right? We turn the corner and boom, here it goes. It's just a flyer out there. So sometimes we never know what is awaiting us when we turn that corner. All we have to do is just to turn, turn and stop, turn the corner and stop, and something big and great may happen to us. We never know.
Yeah. No, I think that's so true, and I think that's a really nice message. And I think, like, you've got to take that leap of faith, haven't you? You got to jump in, dive into the unknown, because an opportunity might arise, something might come up for you, and that's how you grow, isn't it? As a person, you don't grow if you stay in the same place. You have to push forward.
You're not going to appreciate yourself, and the true character, I think it reveals the real essence of the true character is like, who are you when no one else is watching? That's the true meaning of character. Who are you when no one else is watching? Are you determined? Are you like self-motivating? Are you just happy and energetic? Or because in front of somebody else, we always put facade. We always change. We always become a different person. So I think when you know who you are, and I think when no one else is watching you, I think that's the true happiness and the joy, when you're just like, I don't care what other people say, I'm just enjoying my time. I'm just happy. I'm just doing my homework, let's say, right? Or working on this or that, or even playing the PlayStation, but I'm content. I'm just happy, and that's what will drive you.
Yeah. No, that's lovely. That's really, really nice. And I think that's exactly it. And it's like you said, how you are when nobody's watching what you're doing, and being content in yourself as a person.
Yes.
And doing what you love, isn't it? And
yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Oh, it's it's been great. I'm really humbled for you, like sharing your story about the pageant and talking about it. And I think, like, what you spoke about, it's really powerful, and I think it will help people, because people might not believe in themselves, or they might think certain things of themselves, and they can kind of see the trials and tribulations that you had to go through, and you came out the other end of it. I think it's so important as a person, because people are almost trying to find themselves in external things, if that makes sense. They're doing things to try and find themselves, and it's within yourself, isn't it? But sometimes you might have to do something externally, like pageant or certain things, to kind of find yourself, if that makes sense. But
And
people,
sometimes like inner force is going to motivate you to do something externally. So without internal confidence, you will not be able to expose yourself externally out there and stuff. At that time, I didn't have anything internal to give, but I had to do something external to find internal. So sometimes it works both ways, but very careful and be sensitive about risks and values out there. So
no, I agree. No, it's been a pleasure talking to you, Ilona, again, and I'm really grateful to have you on the podcast again. And it's been really inspiring and motivating what you said, and I think you've done amazing, what you're doing, and I think everything you're doing now is really great. You're working on quite a few projects.
Yes.
As well. And I wish you all the best of everything that you're doing. I think it's great.
Thank you, Adam. You too.
No,
You too.
you're
Thank you
welcome.
for having me.
You're welcome. But no, have a great day, and all the best for you doing.
You too.
Thank you. Thank you. I will do. You too.